Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another review for Boruto Naruto Next Generations Chapter 79, and today we got a major turn of events in the Boruto manga because there was a lot not shown in the last manga chapter leaks that we covered yesterday. For those of you guys who have not read the chapter, it's up early on OP Scan's website, the same website I use to Black Clover's reviews, and the translation won't be too much different from the one you get on Viz Media's website on Sunday. However, jumping right into the review, Ada uses her power to rewrite reality. It's more broken than we are initially led to believe from the spoilers, and right now the only people who are not affected by it are Boruto and Kawaki because they're Otsuki, Ada because she's the caster of the divine jutsu, which is called Omnipotence, and for reasons we do not know, Sarada Uchiha is immune, which that is a major turn of events in terms of the symbolism that should not be lost upon, but we'll touch on that after we do the recap portion of the review itself. So the chapter opens up with Boruto and he's cursing Momoshiki and he's demanding to know what just happened, and Momoshiki merely laughs at Boruto, mocking him that he's about to start losing everything and that it's finally begun. And as Momoshiki fades away, Sasuke is shown looking at Boruto with a puzzled expression, which is our sign that Sasuke, out of everyone in that area, he's the one who knows that Momoshiki is now a problem that they have to account for, but right now the priority is Kawaki. Shikamaru leads a team of Chunin and Jonin through the forest, and as a side note, Ikimoto and his staff, they did a really good job on the backgrounds in this chapter, in particular with this panel here with the speed lines blending in with the trees in a way where it doesn't distract you, and the same thing with some of the outfits like with Sumere's dress and Ada's shorts, so you can see the lines inside the dress and the shorts, very detailed. Now getting back to it though, while Shikamaru is leading his team and Inojin says the one thing that many of us thought was going to be the case, Kawaki's actions should be viewed as an act of treason, and Inojin correctly says that Kawaki will get killed for this when this is all resolved, because as I said last month, regardless as to Kawaki's intentions, his actions are going to have consequences, and we're seeing that being hammered home in this chapter more than once from a few different characters, including Kawaki himself, who knows that he's crossed the line. Team 10 then decides to go hunting for Kawaki, and Shikadai calls the order in before Moege can pull a rank on them and tell them to stay behind. Meanwhile, Shikadai isn't the only person from Boruto's generation who's going after Kawaki. After Konohamaru instructs Sarada and Mitsuki to take Boruto to the hospital so Konohamaru and Sasuke can join in the hunt for Kawaki, Mitsuki tells Sarada, I'm not listening to that weakling Konohamaru, you stay with Boruto because I'm gonna go search for Kawaki myself. It's then that Sarada remembers Mitsuki's words from Boruto chapter 69, where he pretty much stated that if he met the person who tried to kill Boruto, that he would outright kill them. While Sarada is standing there shocked, Boruto realizes Mitsuki's intentions and he tells Sarada to go after Mitsuki before it's too late to join him. On the other side of the forest, we have Kawaki running too low on chakra to maintain a Sukuna Hikona, and he falls against a tree and has to hide as the tracking team has gotten too close to his location. It's then we see one of the panels from Boruto's vision for the future where we see the Jonin saying not to let Kawaki get away, which is our first sign of Kishimoto reeling us in before subverting our expectations later on in the chapter with that plot twist. This panel was for Kawaki, where they were looking for him and not Boruto, but the other panels that Boruto saw was everyone hunting Boruto. This was a great build up to that reveal. Back to the chapter, as Kawaki panics and hides, Ada jumps to her feet stating that she's found Kawaki, and we see Ada's priorities on full display here because she chose the power of being horny over being a good sister and taking her younger brother with her because Damon's screaming at her that he can't fly and that she needs to take him with her, likely so he can protect her, but Ada's priority is Kawaki. It's then that we get a major turn of events that shows you just how dire the situation is for Kawaki, while also raising the tension for the readers, because as Shikamaru is running, Amado reaches out to him and is begging for Kawaki's life, and Amado plays his trump card when Shikamaru tells him that this is a Konoha matter and Amado has zero authority here. Amado tells him that he's implanted a verbal shutdown code into Kawaki just like he did with Delta, where he needs to have eye contact with him when he states it, but he's the only one who can use it and he can render Kawaki harmless. Upon hearing this, we see an absolutely infuriated Shikamaru because Amado has once again revealed that he's not been fully truthful and is still hiding things, even after Naruto told Amado to quit the game and to come all the way clean when they interrogate him for the 100th time a few chapters ago. When Shikamaru's head does cool off, he tells Amado that he understands that he needs Kawaki alive to revive his daughter, but he states what we discussed last month. Kawaki crossed a line that he cannot come back from, and any resistance is going to be met with lethal force. And upon hearing that, we get one of Ikimoto's most expressive panels that he's done in the manga for Amado, in my opinion, where Amado's lurched forward and you have the speed lines behind him and he's screaming for Shikamaru to listen to him, and with how the eyes are drawn and the small details like the sweat beads on his face, with the position on one being on the side of his forehead and the other being in the same angle that the first one would slide down his face with, the small details like this and the open eyes and the open mouth, it really sells this scene very well to raise tension for readers. Back in the forest itself, we see Kawaki desperately trying to hide, but Ada approaches him from behind, telling him that she's on his side and not to worry. But Kawaki, being the rude guy that he is, he doesn't take seeing Ada in front of him as an opportunity to use that Otsutsuki level Riz on her. He just flat out insults her, saying that she's useless to him right now, and because she can't hide her chakra, she's just going to give his positioning away. Ada then vows to protect Kawaki no matter what, and we see Kawaki with full-blown irritation in that moment where he's got his hand covering half his face, his fingers in his hair, as he's saying he doesn't care what happens to him, and tells her to protect the 7th Hokage and not him, which is our first sign that his obsession with Naruto is about to rear its ugly head again. Kawaki states that as long as Momoshiki still exists, Naruto isn't safe, and the village that Naruto's trying to protect won't be safe, and that he's scared Momoshiki be free again, which means that Kawaki knows what Amado warned Boruto about, that even though Momoshiki can't resurrect using Boruto's body, he can still hijack his consciousness if the right conditions are met. Kawaki logically makes a very valid point. Boruto is a danger because of Momoshiki, but he also knows that because he's Naruto's son, there's nobody who's going to actually go through it killing Boruto if it came to it. It's at that moment we see exactly what Amado was talking about when he and Shikamaru were on the Hokage rooftop, where he declared that Kawaki's obsession was more like a madness because Kawaki's own memory is getting distorted right in front of our eyes, where he first sees Boruto as Boruto, and then he sees Boruto as Momoshiki calling him brother, and Kawaki's eyes narrow in annoyance and anger, and he lurches forward towards Ada, asking why does it have to be him, with him obviously being Boruto. The jealousy he has of Boruto being Naruto's son, it starts to come out, and we see more of what I mentioned in an older review, which is that if Naruto was a gardener and Kawaki was a plant that was rescued that barely got any light and water, just as that gardener is pushing the plant towards death by overwatering it too quickly, Naruto's fatherly love towards Kawaki pushed him too quickly, and that's how we got to this point here, because Kawaki's overwhelmed with an emotion he doesn't understand. Kawaki says that nobody would mourn Boruto's death if he was a stranger, and for the first time we see Ada scared as she's looking at Kawaki, and again with the emphasis on the eyes on this page from the close-up of Kawaki when he says that no one would mourn Boruto dying, to Ada's fear, to Kawaki low-key mocking her dojutsu powers to see everything when he says that she can use her clairvoyance to see that he's someone who can't protect those who are most important to him. And Ikimoto does a really good job of just using the eyes to convey emotion in each of these panels. That's a huge improvement from what we were getting in 2018. It's then that Ikimoto slows down the chapter a bit, with us going from Ada's hands cupping Kawaki's face and her fingertips on the temples of his head, and we see the small details like the stars on her fingers and Ada's eyes looking down at Kawaki. And what makes this work so well is Ada's eyes are blank here, with the crescent moon in her eye first being shown being gone, and then later on we see that both of those eyes are completely whited out. It's a great use of anticipation panels to set up the impact shot where we see that aura swirling around her as she begins to start rewriting reality. Now this next bit gets really crazy here. So we see a huge aura of chakra explode into the air, and the crescent moon forms from the chakra, and everyone who is searching for Kawaki sees the chakra. Meanwhile, Ada and Kawaki are being lifted into the air by that chakra, and Ada the entire time is still with her hands on Kawaki's face and her fingertips on his temple, which might be a clue about this power itself. Kawaki made this wish, he activated it. Her fingers on his face and they're going towards his head, just as he made those strongly desired thoughts, which might be the connection point for the Shinjutsu, drawing on those small emotions from his mind and the yin chakra of Kawaki, since yin chakra is spiritual chakra, and Ada activating this divine jutsu in a response to it unwillingly. The crescent moon chakra continues to expand, going from the forest to the village and beyond, and Damon and Sumire are the only ones who realize that it was Ada who was behind this, and we get a larger panel showing that she not only caused a ring of chakra around the entire planet, but we also see a beam of chakra that is going out into space on one end, but the chakra is going straight through the planet and going into outer space on the other end, which is an insane amount of chakra being shot off by Ada, way more than what we saw when Toneri focused Tensegan chakra blast struck base Naruto on Earth and left a crater on Earth, and the shock waves that came from that chakra blast cracked the husk of the moon as Toneri was riding off of Hinata to marry her. Ada might not be a brawler, but this is a display of a high volume of chakra that's absolutely mind-numbing. After we see this, Ada falls over, rightfully so, in exhaustion, and after she realizes that she's laying on top of Kawaki, she blushes and she gets off of him as the Jonin arrive, and Boruto asks what was the light that he just saw. Momoshiki stands behind Boruto and he's laughing, and as that goes on, Ada realizes that something has changed, making it clear that this was an unintentional explosion of power that she couldn't control, and she says that something is wrong. But when she does this, we get a fan service shot of Ada where we see those short shorts that are riding up on her, and they're gonna have someone somewhere feeling the need to go touch grass, or they're gonna feel the need to go touch something else if they're a lonely soul like Konohamaru. We get further evidence of the change that occurs when Shikamaru is told by Ino that she can sense Boruto's chakra now, and everyone is given directions on where Boruto is, which causes Sasuke to stop mid-pursuit, and Sarada is left wondering why people are talking about Boruto now. This leads to Mitsuki stopping dead with a murderous look on his face. It's then we see another panel from Boruto's vision from the future, and we see Sarada running. But Ikimoto changes the panel from being a side panel of Sarada to being a fan service shot from behind. Interestingly enough, the panels where Mitsuki lands and we see his foot hit the ground, the amount of force that he's landing on the ground with is our first sign that Mitsuki's about to power up. Mitsuki then tells Sarada to stand back, and he takes off his ninja headband, and we see the cracks on Mitsuki's face, and we see the horn beginning to sprout as he tells Boruto he's pissed him off, and Mitsuki unleashes his sage powers, complete with the aura and the ethereal snakes that are made out of his chakra. As Mitsuki begins to fight Boruto, one of the Jonin asks Kawaki what happened to the scar over his eye, and Ada steps in to divert attention by asking what happened to Kawaki's dad, Naruto, the 7th Hokage, and we learn that everyone thinks that Boruto has harmed Naruto, and we see Kawaki has realized what's happened. Meanwhile, Mitsuki demands to know what happened to Naruto, and Boruto tries to ask for clarification and de-escalate things. He's told by Momoshiki to dodge Mitsuki's ethereal chakra snakes that are coming up from underground, and as Mitsuki glares at Boruto in response, he's ignoring the pleas of Sarada by just responding back with a cold comment that he can't guarantee he won't kill Boruto. That's when Momoshiki drops the bomb on us. Everyone in the village is coming after Boruto with killing intent right now, and that Ada's power is something that when it's in its true nature, she can't control it. It's omnipotence. As Boruto runs away from Mitsuki's long-range attacks, Momoshiki explains that this is the power that God used to create the world. Whatever is imagined is materialized, and we see more of what Amado meant when he said that Shinjutsu is the true form of all ninjutsu, genjutsu, and etc. Whereas Itachi could create things in his genjutsu controlling time and space, Ada is literally taking what is likely the yin chakra from Kawaki's deepest desires and rewriting reality in a literal sense and on a global scale. Momoshiki calls it a divine jutsu within a divine jutsu, which shows that Amado might have played around with something he didn't understand, fitting the stereotype for science and scientists in science fiction when he transplanted Shibai's DNA into Ada to give her those jutsu, and Momoshiki says that because she isn't an Otsutsuki, she can't fully control her power, which is why her power to control hearts works in the way that it does. However, this jutsu she used to control the mind as well, which makes that Makima comparison and that Tsukishima comparison from Bleach feel very much on the money right now. This is control, and this is the rewriting of reality. And this is the rewriting of the past, and to an extent, this is also like Grimmy from Bleach, where reality itself is changed based on what the person's thinking about. Momoshiki states that Amado never knew what he was doing when he did this to Ada because he had no way of knowing, because he's only a human. And that's what we're seeing right here, is that because of Kawaki's latent desire to be Naruto's son and to want Boruto's life as Naruto's son, Momoshiki says that Kawaki activated this omnipotence by using Ada, which opens up the door for someone who's Otsutsuki, i.e. Boruto or Kawaki, to eventually reverse this if they can come into contact with Ada, because she herself can't control it, but an Otsutsuki can activate it, which means that there's a reversal being set up here. Kawaki then tells Ada to inform everyone that the 7th Hokage is dead, and he died at Boruto's hands. And even Ada is drawn with a shocked expression on her face, because not only did Kawaki stop her from telling the truth to Shikamaru, but he's now telling her to lie, and we can see where this is going. Her desire to be loved and accepted by Kawaki is going to lead to her doing just that, lie for Kawaki. But that shocked look is very telling. She sees how far Kawaki is willing to go, and he's willing to cross other lines to ensure that Boruto's dead, which means we've gone from Kawaki accidentally activating this power and Ada to knowing exactly what happened, realizing that he's now Naruto's son like he always wanted, and he's telling everyone that Boruto killed Naruto, so that after Boruto's killed, he will live in this world as Naruto's only remaining son whenever Naruto gets out, which is a really dark thing to think about. Momoshiki then tells Boruto that the way this is possible is that the memories and the consciousness of people has been altered via chakra, which explains the chakra rings that we saw Ada produce and Ada's chakra going through both ends of the planet. Momoshiki says manipulating memories with chakra is something that Otsutsuki are able to do, and again, that's in line with what we know from the original Naruto series. It's just building on top of it because it is Shinjutsu. So when you go back to Naruto and you look at how Genjutsu works, Genjutsu manipulates the chakra of a person to make them see the illusion that the caster's creating. This is that, but on a different level, with the physical impact where the desire is actual reality right now. Momoshiki tells Boruto that only he and Kawaki and Ada and Sarada are the only ones who are not affected by this, which brings into question why wasn't Sarada affected, but potentially her own father was, because when we look at that background with everybody under the spell, Sasuke was on that side. That could be misdirection, but it is something to keep our eyes on. Now, Momoshiki's words also line up with what we see at the end of the chapter, where Momoshiki says that Kawaki is now Kawaki Uzumaki, and Boruto's now Boruto, the boy who killed the 7th Hokage and is now being hunted down and killed. What's crazy about this chapter is that we literally see the setup for this in the anime, in terms of anime episodes where this is foreshadowed to the openings and endings with all those symbolic shots. But the fact that Boruto and Sarada are the only ones left affected from Konoha is a very symbolic reference here. The future Shadow Hokage and the future Hokage are the only ones on the good side who know the truth of what happened, and if we look at the opening and endings, we know exactly where this is going. Sarada's gonna be very emotional when Boruto leaves the village, and will very likely be the last one who sees them when he actually leaves, which makes you wonder, how will Boruto handle this reversal of fortunes now, and is he mentally prepared to face those who he cares for? My chapter questions to you guys are going to be, do you guys think that Kawaki was wrong for knowing what happened and still telling people that Boruto killed Naruto, knowing that it will lead to people trying to kill Boruto? And then my second question for you guys is, how guilty is Ada for going along with this? While you think that over, click here to watch my Chainsaw Man chapter 123 review on KRYPTONIAN SAIYAN.